Hello and welcome to the Mazal class. I'm your host, Rabbi David Katz. All right, you guys ready to rock? Michtav Miliyahu Tafkid Omes Ha'olam La'achir Shedachu Es Tachlisim Haruchanis Lehiyos Kalim Latachlis Bli Shaychis Yeshira Levoidis Hashem. Michtav Miliyahu says the role, R-O-L-E, or task, purpose, function of the nations of the world after they push aside their spiritual potential, it becomes to become vessels for tachlis. If they don't reach their potential or take their potential, then they want to be kalim for the tachlis without any shaykhis, without any association or straight association to serving God. Thus, that when the nations push aside their spiritual potential, they only help God from one side, which is that all of them from now are only vessels for tachlis without any shaykhis, directly serving God, and all of them are involved only in this world according to their desires. Do you see now why ger is such a big deal? I hope you say yes a bit to that. Really do. You see why ger is absolutely crucial? Gerim serve God. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Ger serve God. The church doesn't. So when it says Ummah Sa'olam, Jacques, how do we know it's talking ger? Because our good friends on the Facebook yeshiva will say that any non-Jew this is talking about. How do we know for a fact it's not? Any idea? Anyone? Justin, Penny, John, Edo? How do we know it's not talking about you? How do we know? Well, that's nice that you said that, Jacques, but how do you know that? How do we know? How do we know? Which language? Which language? Which language? Which language? Which Hebrew language? Which Hebrew language? Is it the Ummah Sa'olam or is it the Hasidic Ummah Sa'olam? It said Ummah Sa'olam. And we know from the most recent translation of Rabbi Rabbanot that the Hasidic Ummah Sa'olam are synonymous with ger. Thus we see there are the Ummah Sa'olam, the Goyish nations, and those that are extracted from them, the Hasidic Ummah Sa'olam, who are not them. Thereby, those that don't serve God are the Ummah Sa'olam, not the Hasidic Ummah Sa'olam, type 1. It is as simple as that. Iker terms. Iker terms. Hazoyer kol ha'umas v'haratzu yischel k'magash baruch l'mamaynim shamayla l'balei tracing. The Zohar says that all the nations and lands are divvied by God, their sustenance from above, l'balei tracing. I didn't look up what tracing is. V'chein over b'zoyer ki kol ha'oimis v'haratzu yischel k'magash baruch l'mamaynim shamayla Shluchim Azela Shaina Kol Amim V'Orim Lamanin Shlichim Parshas Miketz Loshen Zayahu V'Alma Pali Leilosh Baruchu Lamanin Trace Derech Emes Sham Amoinim Bali Tracing. All right, we gotta look up this word tracing. What can we do? We gotta look up the word tracing. Means like shield. Fight, challenge, oppose, resist, wrestle. Y'all like to wrestle? Why is it bringing up wrestling? The ballet tracing. Yeah, so people got to fight for their sustenance. Zoyer kol ha'ami nitnu l'sarim v'maynim v'shishlatu aleim. All the nations are appointed ministers of sustenance that rule over them. All right. Five types of angels are over each and every nation. As it says in Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer, Umana malach al kulam avoim v'chein, holam eloshin acheres b'sifri midrash tanchuma hazinu. Ha'amim sareim sarimai leveim mushlim behem. The nations, their ministers, the ministers above, that they rule over them. What's the word for nation? Uma v'uma. Uma, as in umut. Uma. All right. Ein devar shelo yeh malach v'moina alav afilu kol esav esav. There is nothing that doesn't have an angel over it, even a blade of grass. V'chino v'sefer chasidim. Kishah Yisrael misgavrim b'kol shayfir v'shayfir l'mayla shari. Sari umis v'noiflin achakach noiflin ha'oimis l'mata v'ashmi para v'mayel v'sharsha metachat v'ma'al zimalach mazlam v'sharsha metachat eilu ha'oimis ki ein l'cha devar shloyi malach ha'moin alav afido kolez v'esef. As it says in Sefer Chasidim, and for our great antagonistic friends listening, no, it's not the Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov. Sorry, it's not that. When Israel was strengthening with the Kol Shofar and Shofar in the Maile, they were breaking what does the Kol Shofar do, Jacques? What does the crying of the shofar accomplish? It breaks the heavenly ministers above. Now that is pretty interesting, because if that is true, and I do believe it is true, that's what happens on Rosh Hashanah when you blow the shofar. That Israel would apparently have dominance over the heavenly ministers. Why is that important? Because on Rosh Hashanah, the sustenance comes down for the entire year, type 1 Jacques. How does God get the sustenance in the world without the nation ministers impeding it? Give the mitzvah of shofar, and on Rosh Hashanah, it comes down. And afterwards, the nations fall below, and their fruit from above, and their root below, and above, this is the angel of their Mazal. The root below, these are the nations. Umot, Justin Becker. Nothing, it doesn't have a sustaining angel over it, even a blade of grass. Elu Sarim Shamayle, Bechina Hoive B'Midrash Shecher Tov, Ke'echor Sarim Tefulo, Elu Sarim Shamayle, Yifgod Hashem Al Tziva Shemayim, that the ministers will fall from above. Who? Hallelujah. Barakia Ozo. Mahu Ozo. What does it mean? The brilliance in the firmament. What is the brilliance in the firmament? It's the ministers of the nations of the world. So in this lowly world, there are spiritual aspects in this world that are not perceivable to you, right? How many of you have ever heard of Mazal? Anyone ever heard of Mazal? How many of you have ever experienced a divine coincidence? Deja vu. a spiritual phenomenon. All right, so we know that there is spirituality in this world, right? So there are entities in this world that we just can't perceive, but that they are spiritual, and they are conduits of which bring the Shefa into this world. Now, even though there is such a thing as Jewish astrology, however God runs his Maisa Bereshis of his world, let's entertain the concept for a second of astrology. And let's pretend that astrology is true, even though what they have in the Yahoo News items are not true. Type 1. But imagine, again, how God runs the world is infinitely more complex than this. But let's say that Mars in retrograde, I don't even know that's the thing, means that for Geminis like Jacques, Shefa will come down in the month of May with a lot of struggle. Imagine that. For Geminis, it'll come down with a lot of struggle. Type 1, John. What it means is that God is giving the Shefa, and through the heavenly bodies, it comes in the world a certain way. Now, that's a very crude way of expressing it, because I don't believe in Yahoo News or astrology. But there is such a thing as Maisa Bereshit. And God does deliver Shefa into this world through spiritual pathways. And the heavenly arrangement is one of them. But there's a lot of other things that are taken into consideration. It's how God runs the world. It's called Maisa Bereshit. It's not limited to retrograde and Gemini and Venus. It's the whole creation. All right. That's that for that. Gam divrei Gemara b'Shabbos mashma kain. V'achen gam divrei Gemara b'Shabbos v'machlekes shel Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Yochanan im yesh Mazal Yisrael ein Mazal mashma shekol machlekes. V'ilagavi am Yisrael aval gavi yom ha'olam kula v'achem askimim shehem v'leitachas ma'arnes ha'Mazal. There's a machlokes in the Gemara Shabbos 156a between Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Yochanan if Israel has Mazal or not. And it's mashma that they are implied that the whole machlokes is only concerning Am Yisrael, but by the Umas Ha'olam, the nations of the world, all of them agree that they are placed under the Mereches HaMazal, by the arrangement of the heavens. So when the Umas Ha'olam, let's say that there's a caliber astrologer, and the planets are reading that the Shefa will be very difficult for Geminis when Mars is in retrograde, then the Umas Ha'olam are programmed by their Shituf to buy into that. And for those Geminis, they will all experience the phenomenon that it really is hard because they're buying into the system. It's like going to the comedy. It's Kishuf and Shituf, right? You go to the comedy club. Have you ever been to a comedy club? Type 1 if you've ever been to a comedy club. And you go, what's the first thing you do at the comedy club, Justin Becker? What is the first thing you do? You buy a bucket of beer, right? Everyone buys their drinks, and usually in the clubs, there's a 2-drink minimum. How do I know that? Because I worked in the comedy clubs before I came to Israel. So now everyone's going, getting a little happy, buying some nachos, right? Now, Justin Becker, why did you go to the club? Did you go to the club to laugh? You went to the club to laugh. So when the comedian looks at Justin Becker and he says, "Hey, man, you wear a hat like that? Man, I bet you paid about $3 for that hat in Walmart." What does everyone do? What does everybody in the club do? They laugh. Ha, ha, ha. Wow, I bet he bought his hat at Walmart for $3. Right? Because everyone has bought into, that's why we're here. We're here to laugh and have a good time. I assure you, nobody wants the guy to not laugh and be a stickler and be the hard guy, and the comedian knows what to do with that guy anyways. He heckles him. So if you buy into something, you will reap the benefits of what you buy into. If you buy into Shituf, you will believe that your Shituf God provided you with sustenance. If you reject Shituf, you will find a greater world, the God of gods, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the God of Israel, who sustains the world, who is above the heavenly ministers, above the arrangement in the heavens, and will utilize all of creation to give you and get you sustenance. Type 1. So it's really a big deal. If you want to buy into a lesser system, then you buy into a lesser system. If you want to buy into the system, you buy into the system. God allows Shituf to happen. The world was created to deliver Shefa. God will utilize the Shituf to deliver the Shefa as an agent of God. Or if you choose to not go right up to God, then you can worship the Shituf and you'll get your Shefa in a much more watered down way. Even though Shituf is allowed, Ger is the program to reject Shituf. Sinai is the rejection of Shituf program. Israel is commanded to reject Shituf, having rejected Shituf, and to go to God and to say Shema Yisrael, believe in God, sanctify God. The entire Mashiach plan is non-Shituf. It's the sanctification of God, like the Elenu prayer, type 1. The nations of the world are predicted by the prophets to reject Shituf. Eventually, in the end, all will recognize the hand of God. So if you're in a Shituf, it's going to be temporary at best. It was a stopgap between Avodah Zarah and the real thing. God willing, the world will get Ger, and I mean that in every sense of the way. And stop with the Shituf. Let the Shefa happen. Let God give the Shefa. We don't need it to come through Shituf. We'll close with this. There's not a divine providence by the nations. The Ramchal says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Sam Shvim Pakidim, God placed 70 ministers, the Malachim, the angels, that they sustain onto the Umas Ha'ilim, and they are Mashgichim Aleihim. These 70 ministers are your lookouts, and they are your divine providence. God doesn't rule over them, only in general ruling or general providence. Ve'ilu asarhu mashgiach aleim hashgacha pratis, and if one of the ministers has providential effects over them, ve'Hashem eino mashgiach u'mashbia leprateihim, and God doesn't give providence or influence to the individuals. So the nations, the Goyish nations, don't have individuality. Individuality is a product of divine providence, and the ministers don't have divine providence, or don't give divine providence, except in a general way, and God only facilitates in a general way, and he holds back his divine providence in a unique way. This is what it says in Derech Hashem, which you all have in English, and the second part, chapter 4. In the Indian of Yisrael and Umas Ha'ilim, as it talks about the nations of the world. In the time that God divided the world, God placed the 70 ministering angels. They sustain the nations. God only gives general providence over those nations. And the minister that gives unique governing, and then the minister that rules uniquely with the unique power invested in him by the master of all masters. Only y'all that I know from all the families of the earth. However, as it says in Amos 3:2, however, but that doesn't mean that God can't be known, even though he is hidden and allows the lesser entities to assume hashgacha pratis. Everything is hit is safroi v'galoi lefanav yizbarach shemo mi'olam. Everything is hidden and revealed, or you can even say is like scouted and revealed before him. Aval ha'inyan hu she'ena mashgiach mashpia liparteihem. What does that mean? I've seen this before recently. One second. And I love him. They said that they're chas v'shalom yidei so they brought shemo b'parteihem ki hakol safroi v'galoi lefanav yizbarach shemo mi'olam. Aval ha'inyan hu she'ena mashgiach. Right. The Indian is that God isn't ruling and delivering in the details into the unique people. Meaning God doesn't rule over every American. But every American can seek out God. And they can see how his providence is there. See how it's chus and chova and Mazal. If you're born into Klippa and Omas Ha'olam, you'll see Schus and Chova under the Shituf. And if you want to look for the Mazal, where God is always unique, you can look for it and find it and connect to the Eibishter. All right, thank you for listening. Any questions on this before we close the book? God is there. God is great. God allows Shituf. In the Shituf, it looks like it has a unique providence, but it's only schus and chova. It's only kind of quick merit and reward and punishment of a lesser entity. And anyone that wants to find God can find God in his uniqueness, in his mazel, anywhere, anytime. And that's what it means to step out from the astrology and the lesser mazel and enter into the higher mazel. Thank you for listening. Have a great week.